Welcome, everybody, to Casting for Two, the official podcast of this guy named Chris. That this guy I speak of is me. I'm him. Welcome, everybody, to episode 105. Before I get into the guests for today, shop talk time. So as you know, anybody who listens, I'm a huge fan of Rooster Teeth Productions, and every year they do a charity event where they stream themselves playing video games, having fun for 24 hours. It's called Extra Life, and this year I decided to take part in it. So if you want to go and donate to me, part of their team for children's hospitals, you can do that. I'll include the link in this in the description for this episode. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And if you like kids or charities, donate, please, and thank you. But let's get into today's guest. I have a great guest. She is so talented, so hardworking. The very beautiful Christina Wren is on the show. And if you look at her and you're like, why does she look familiar? She was in a little movie called Man of Steel. She was in the movie. She's in the military, and she has the great line of she thinks Superman's kind of hot. And so I was so happy to kind of nerd out with her about that, and also Batman v Superman. And you know what? Just how talented she is, and finding out more about her background. And I suggest everybody listen to the show and then go watch everything that she does. Let's get into this episode. Chris, cue the music, please, and thank you. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm real good, real good. Thanks for organizing this today.
Of course, that is what I do. I don't have people.
You hustle?
Yeah, quite, yeah.
Essentially, yeah, it's a good thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah, no, I definitely do like doing everything myself. Not because, I'm a control freak or anything like that. It's just that if something goes wrong, I only have myself to blame.
Sure, I understand that. I definitely understand that.
But how's your day going so far?
You know, things are pretty good. It's been a full active day, but I think everything's good. How about yourself?
So far for me, it's also good. I've just been chilling and relaxing.
Oh, nice.
So
Sounds good.
yeah, nothing too crazy. I'm not one of those crazy folks. I'm actually a very boring person.
I find that hard to believe with your casting for two extravaganzas. This is pretty exciting.
Well, thank you. I'm so happy I could chat with you. Like I told you, it's a pretty loose show. We can talk about whatever, but I do like finding out what inspired you to go down the road that you went, pertaining to acting?
Yeah, it was kind of an organic path, honestly. As a little kid, I mean, small child, I would watch movies and be incredibly envious if there was ever a child in it, but I just thought it was like an absolutely impossible thing to get to be a part of. When I grew up in Pittsburgh, there was no film industry there, and when I was about 7, I saw a high school production of Godspell and wanted to jump out of my seat and
Mhm.
rush up on stage. And I just thought kids would never get to do something like that. But a year later, I saw a kids production of Godspell and was so excited about it. And after the show, my mom asked, is that something you would like to do? She could tell I was really excited. And so she signed me up for children's theater. And then I just kept doing that, all through high school. And I did tons of shows and plays and musicals and that sort of thing. And then my summer after my junior year of high school, I got into a program called the Pennsylvania Governor's School for the Arts. And that was the first time I had really studied acting in a serious way. And it was incredible. And that kind of crystallized for me that I wanted to have that as a part of my life in an ongoing way. But I still didn't believe that there was an opportunity for it to become a profession. So I thought, well, maybe I'll minor in theater and, major in something else. And the major kept changing. And finally I
Mhm.
thought, well, maybe I'll double major in, nursing and English and Spanish but I mean, everything.
Yeah.
And finally, I was filling out applications. And I mean, I went to a math and science magnet football high school. So we had a really great little community of artists. But, most of my teachers were trying to encourage me to do something a little bit practical. And my mom came into my room one night and she said, Christina, it's your life. You need to make these decisions. And I thought for sure she was going to say, I just think you need to make a practical choice. You're a smart girl. And
Right.
instead she said, you really have a talent, and I don't think you should bury your talents. And so I started looking at schools with strong drama departments, and then kind of have thought of it more professionally since then. But even then, I thought I'll go to college and I'll come home and work in a community theater or things like that. I just didn't. It took me a very long time, and I think even to this day, I'm still kind of grappling with the concept that you could do this at a high level in a professional way. I didn't grow up. I have friends who are like, I just knew I was going to be famous, like
Right.
I just didn't have that. Um, so yeah, it's been maybe a little bit more of a meandering journey than some people, but a good one. So
Mhm. Yeah, no. Well, it's nice. Just, I mean, there's still some people who are going to college and just, not sure what they want to do, even though they're going down a certain path. It's like, do I really want to take this, or can I want to do this or that? So I totally get it. Totally get it.
it's good times though.
Yeah.
College is good. Mhm.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. I'm here.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So we're talking about college. I was. Did you say anything after the college?
I think I just said college was good.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought there was a bigger chunk, and I accidentally dropped out.
No, nothing too substantial.
Oh, okay. It's the thing that always bugged me about school because I'm not one of these college folk. I decided to do a trade school instead, but I've never understood if I wanted to be like a photographer. Why do I have to take math or certain class? That's all. That's the only thing that's always bothered me about college.
I could see that. I mean, I think it just depends on your perspective of what you want to get out of an education. And I think
Right.
it's really important, especially with how expensive education is, for people to be clear with themselves. I mean, I think it's awesome that you kind of took that into consideration and found a program that was good for you. Because for me, it's funny, I kind of had the opposite where I felt like, yes, I want to study
Uh-huh.
acting in a really focused way and I wanted to get my BFA, but I still really wanted some solid liberal arts education as well and just a little bit more of a well-rounded education. And very few programs you can get your BFA and get liberal arts classes. It's usually you either get your BA or, you're just straight conservatory. And NYU was one of the few programs that offered that. So that was part of what drew me, into that program. But I do think it's really important, and it's hard because sometimes when you're a young person, 18, 19,
Mhm.
making those long-term decisions can be confusing, and especially a lot of times people around you will have a ton of input and trying to clear through the noise and go, if I can catch a glimmer of what my future is meant to be, what path will set me,
Right. Yeah.
most right. Yeah, so I do think it's really about what you want to focus on.
Well, it's funny because ever since I was little, I would say probably about when I was in third grade, so really really young.
Yeah.
I always had the notion that I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be, that the cool teacher because I felt like I mean I had good teachers, but when I was younger, I didn't feel like I had good teachers, and I said I want to change that. I want to be a teacher. And
That's great.
then slowly it turned into I want to teach history because I really do love history, American history, and all that good stuff. And then once I graduated school and went to just try out community college, I sat there in class and I said I do not want to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's sometimes how you figure it out, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because I would technically go to school, but I would sit in the cafeteria area, and back then, a giant laptop. It was huge,
Right.
and I would sit there and just I would write whatever came to my mind, and for some reason, I've always had film in the back of my head, so I started writing a rock opera, not even knowing what an rock opera was. I've heard the phrase rock opera, and I said I can write one of those. It'll be easy.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And I never finished it though.
Oh, you should.
It's pretty garbage. My idea of a rock opera was it would be a murder mystery, but I would play drums through the entire film, kind
Okay.
of like in the style. Have you seen Birdman?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Uh-huh.
In that style, I was ahead of Birdman.
Nice. Look at you.
But I never nothing. I think that script is gone forever, which is fine. I only made it to like page 5.
I got it. Got it.
So
Got it.
it's no loss. I'm okay with that.
And that's great, though.
Do you remember the first project you got onto?
Like professional project?
Yeah, or the one that you were paid.
Oh, my first paid project.
Yeah.
Um, oh, it was being an extra
Hmm.
on The Taking of Pelham 123.
Oh, were you on the train?
I was. I was
Yes.
totally on the train. Yeah, you might see my face on the corner of the screen at some point quickly, but it was actually a really cool kind of magical experience. Number one, just feeling like I'm getting paid to make a movie.
Right.
It was really romantic, and um, Tony Scott was crazy, kind, and lovely, and
Hmm.
just a wonderful person. And so was John Travolta. I'd never seen cameras that big in my life. They're like, it was in Grand Central Station, and they, had big hoses hosing down the trains and tons, like hundreds of extras, and it just felt really, really magical. So yeah, that was my first.
There you go. And you didn't did you ever just like hang out with Travolta and dance with him?
No, but actually there was an incredibly sweet moment because we were filming overnight
Hmm.
and film shoots are 13 hours long, like very long hours, and
Right.
we were filming deep in the bowels of Grand Central Station, and as we wrapped it was like, you know, 5 a.m. and everyone was exhausted and the escalators stopped working.
Uh-oh.
And so you've got hundreds of people who are exhausted, trying to emerge from the bowels of the subway. And there was this one woman who, she was a little heavy set, and I think she must have had some sort of like a little bit of a problem in one of her legs. And so she was really having a hard time getting up the steps. And a lot of people were just being nasty because it was, holding up the line basically.
Hmm.
And John Travolta, it was so classy and lovely. He got right next to her and put his arm around her, and he was like, "Hey, you and me are in this together." And he walked step by step, helping her up. And of course, no one's going to be rude when John Travolta is there
Right.
helping her up. And it was such a lovely, kind moment there.
And that lady was Adita Menzel.
Exactly.
So weird.
Her name. Yeah.
There we go. Oh, that's cool. I see. I always love hearing, because celebrities are people. I think people tend, like, normal people tend to forget that. So it's, yeah. So there you go. Travolta's a good guy.
Yeah, yeah, it was super, super warm. And often I was an extra a couple of times after that, and um, not all directors and stars acknowledge
Mm.
background actors.
Right.
Um, and I thought it was, you know, classy the kindness that they both showed, especially when there were so many people and it was sort of a chaotic environment. It would have been easy for them not to have been so kind.
Right. Right. It's because I used to do extra work too,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked on the show Leverage.
Oh, cool.
And I just thought it was weird that no one was talking to us except I believe the second or the third AD. I can't really remember. And I was just like, why? I mean, we're all in this enclosed space, and it was just weird to me. Like, oh, the director's not making eye contact with me. He wants me to do something, but
Yeah.
he's just not looking at me. So and then yeah, it's just I can't imagine working on a set and not talking with everybody. It's just weird to me.
It is, and in their defense, I mean, there are union rules
Right.
around it. Technically directors aren't supposed to talk to background actors or engage with them, and I think it's partly to protect directors too, and kind of the stars from getting um, bombarded if
Right.
people, if they're trying to work, and you don't want folks like running up and taking selfies. But I really appreciated that, there are people who can kind of stick within the union rules and be appropriate, but also just sort of acknowledge the humanity of everyone in the room, which is what I hear
Hmm.
you saying. It is sort of a funny thing to be in an enclosed space with someone and pretend that they don't exist or aren't in front of you.
Right. Yeah. When I was working on a project, it was my friend and I. We were both directing, and the scene called for a lot of people. It was a Christmas party,
Okay.
and my buddy, who's the best assistant location manager
Uh-huh.
in Canada. I'm just gonna say Canada, all of Canada.
Nice.
He got us just a good group of people, and so I made sure it's I'm a friendly guy, so I just decided to talk to each and every one of them, and I just like a nice, good, friendly atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So.
One thing I got to ask you about. I'm a huge DC fan.
Woo woo!
Exactly. Yes. I have a Green Lantern tattoo on my leg right now.
What?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, you're incredible.
This was before the movie. Okay, let me just state that
All
before.
right. All right. You
So
were, yeah, an early adopter.
yeah, oh yeah, very early adopter. And I when I saw Man of Steel, I was so blown away. Just because I like in the DC hierarchy or hierarchy, whatever. Superman's not really at the top of my list.
Okay.
Just because he's good at everything. We get it. And then I saw Man of Steel, and then I go, Superman is awesome. It's the movie that makes me like Superman a
I
lot.
love to hear that. I absolutely love to hear that.
But what was the process of getting your role in that movie?
Oh yeah, it's kind of a wild process. I will say, my brother and I were huge superhero fans
Hmm.
growing up. Superman was our main one, but we had a Green Lantern
Yeah,
figure with a power ring that was glow in the dark.
nice,
So that was pretty awesome. Yeah,
nice.
just had to share that with you as a fan. But the process for getting into Man of Steel was honestly a pretty crazy one. I was making an indie film that I wrote a few years ago back in New York, and the actor that we cast opposite me was working at a commercial casting office at the time, and they couldn't find a girl for this hummus commercial.
Hmm.
And so he said, I think my friend Christina would be right for it. And I had another gig that day, and I had to like try to squeeze out of it early to make it down to this audition, and I almost didn't make it. They were packing up the equipment at the time I showed up, but thankfully the casting director graciously, set everything back up to tape me, which was incredible.
Mhm.
And I ended up booking that, and then a few months later got an email from a Warner Brothers casting associate saying a Hollywood director has seen your hummus commercial and would like you to audition for this untitled Warner Brothers project.
Uh-huh.
Please send us a video of you doing the attached sides. And I thought, oh, what the heck is this? Some jerk and made up this email address and is pulling my leg. Like, I just thought it was so vague, and it also just seemed like that doesn't happen,
Yeah, yeah. Hummus, Warner Brothers, come on.
Exactly. So I sent in a tape, but I didn't know what it was for. So I sent in, like 5 different takes in different styles, and they wrote back and said, "Hey, can you audition for this military officer instead?" So I sent in a bunch of versions of that. I was trying to still figure out, I was like, is this even the same movie? Is this an aliens movie? Is it a political movie? There were like, 3 or 4 lines, and I'm trying to piece it together. And I got a call a week or so later from the casting director, Christy, and she's amazing and lovely. And so she's plowing through. She's like, "Hey, Christina, they loved your tape. The, execs are reviewing it right now, but we want you. I just want to confirm your availability for these dates, all this stuff." And, finally I was like, this sounds great, but, can I know what the film is before? Because you never know.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, but you can't tell anyone. It's the new Superman.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it honestly, I'm not a big crier, but it
Yeah.
took me everything in me not to cry while I was on the phone because, like I said, I mean, my brother and I were such huge Superman fans growing up. It was such an iconic part of our childhood. We loved the Christopher Reeve movie. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we played Superman all the time. My mom made him a full body Superman costume. Um, it was just like such a big kind of literal childhood dream coming true. So yeah, it was a really special story.
There you go. And so, and you were in the new one as well?
Yeah, yeah. So thankfully I get to come back in Batman v Superman.
There you go. And I gotta say, when I heard Ben Affleck was cast as Batman, I was like, absolutely. I mean, Argo, the town alone. I was like, yeah, go right ahead. And then when you see him in the bat suit, it's just so freaking awesome.
Yes. Yes.
It looks like the suit is cuddly, but yet I'm still afraid of it.
I love that description. Yeah, I mean, I think he was a perfect choice, honestly. Just, you know, his demeanor, obviously he's proven himself
Hmm.
as an actor, um, and just kind of who he is able to portray at this point. Like, it's just, he's fantastic, just perfect for it. So,
And
yeah,
so
it's really exciting.
now I'm not a spoilers guy, so I don't want any. I'm not going to press you for spoilers at all.
Good. That's
Uh,
good.
and plus, I don't want to get you in trouble or me in trouble. I don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't talk about,
It,
my,
it, exactly. But do they give you the whole script and do you read it, or do they just give you the chunks for the scenes that you're in?
I just get the chunks for the scenes that I'm in.
Okay.
And then rely on the benevolence of fellow actors if there are, holes that I need to know about. But I'm handed pages upon arrival and I have to sign an NDA and then I return those pages when I leave and sign another form that I handed them back, and so it's definitely a protected process. It feels kind of cool, I have to say. They will only hand deliver pages. So,
Hmm.
someone might show up at my fitting or things like that, but it's a very, very kind of super secret experience.
There you go.
Let my husband read them.
And have you seen have you seen any footage at all, or are you just kind of going to see it when it premieres?
I'll really just see it when it premieres. I did a, quick little line of ADR, so I saw a couple seconds that looked awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like everybody else. It's an exciting day when it finally comes out, and I get to experience it the same as fans, which is fun.
There you go. There you go. Well, that's awesome. Just I can't. I really can't. I when I go into movies, I always, no matter if I always try to keep my expectations low, just because I enjoy movies, and so if I take something away from a movie that everyone hates, I mean that's a good thing. I saw Fantastic Four, and I go, you know what, the cast is really good. So
Yeah, yeah. And I think so too. I think, sometimes it's hard as a filmmaker to knowing how much it takes to pull off making a movie, period.
mhm.
Um, so and I'll hear a lot of people critiquing things pretty harshly, and I think I am, a pretty gentle critic as well, where I'm like, oh, but look at all the things they were able to pull off, and
Right.
um, that's usually a feat in and of itself. So.
Yeah, yeah, and unfortunately for Batman v Superman, like my expectations, they're through the. After that, I saw the trailer. I'm so excited. I can't help it. I want to see that movie right now.
Oh, me too, man. Yeah.
I don't care if it's not done. Just
Shall we?
show me everything. I don't care.
I have to say I don't think we'll be disappointed. I feel
No, yeah.
confident. Yeah.
But did you want to talk about anything? Like, do you have any projects coming up?
That's a great question. I'm just so excited, obviously, to be a part of this franchise and as it grows. And I also I have my own production company, so we're
Hmm.
constantly making original work. So I have a sci-fi series, just a fun, little thing called Lusa, and a comedy series called Half Sisters that's touring festivals right now. Both of those you can just find online. Yeah, and then I'm in process of writing a handful of things that um, I'm hoping will jump off, fairly soon. So,
Okay.
so stay tuned.
There we go. And I'm curious, what's your writing process like? Do you go to a coffee shop, or do you like just lock yourself in a room and just everyone stays away?
It depends. I do a little bit of both.
Hmm.
Sometimes being in a coffee shop is really helpful because I can distract myself. It's like, laundry really does need to be done, and just stuff like that. But I think usually when I'm starting out is when I get the most distracted. I
Right.
find it to be the hardest part, just kind of getting a project started. And then once I'm in it, I could sit at a desk for 12 hours straight and not realize time went by. It's kind of bizarre, but I'll just be in kind of tunnel vision mode, which is fun. That's always an exciting place to be, where you feel like the work is alive and it's flowing. And yeah, so I've got an indie film right now that's being reviewed, and I've got a couple of pretty fun pilots and um, stuff like that are all kind of in the works, and all very different. I don't tend to write one specific genre. I really tend to kind of start from a character's journey, and then
Mhm.
depending on the life and world of that character is more where the show will end up going. So it's kind of fun for me too, because I'm always learning so much of, researching different kinds of comedy, or researching westerns, or researching, what goes on in different parts of the world, or
Mhm.
um, yeah, it's such a fun kind of growth experience too.
Awesome. So, have you ever started a project where it starts out funny and then all of a sudden it's a slasher film?
Ooh, no, not quite that extreme, but I have started projects that, like Saudage, my first little indie, I started as a short.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't have actually had the courage at the time to think I could even accomplish writing a feature script, which is kind of funny. But I just, decided I would write a short, and then the story kept growing. So I started writing it as a web series, and then I handed 13 episodes to my partner, and, he read it and said, this isn't a web series, this is a film. So let's weave it all together. So that definitely was a shift. I think everything else, I have one script that I've been working on for a long time that has changed quite a bit because I started writing it during the Arab Spring and during kind of, um, you know, all the 99% and Occupy Wall Street
Hmm.
and then as I was writing, that era really changed culturally, and thus my script really changed as well. Um, it just didn't feel as timely and relevant as the world changed.
Right.
So I think there have been things like that, but it would be kind of exciting to be, writing a musical and it turned into a slasher. I should try that one day.
There you go. There you go. My buddy and I thought of a funny short where it's centered around the kids of Glee.
Uh-huh.
They always break into song and dance. What if you turn the camera to the side and you have the normal students just like, oh crap, there they go again,
Awesome. I love that.
and then
That's great.
yeah, and then they have to somehow just join in because they don't want to break the illusion. It's something like that.
Right, right.
But yeah, it's just I don't know if yeah, Glee's gone, so I don't know if anybody would get that. Glee's timeless. Who cares?
Yeah, it had such a big fan base, and I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, as a woman who started as a musical theater kid, I can say
Mhm.
that when the musical theater kids get rowdy and break into song in the middle of the room at their math and science football high school, everyone looks at them like they're crazy.
Right.
There's definitely truth in that. So,
There you go. Unfortunately, the time is coming where we have to part ways. I have to let you go do bigger and better things.
absolutely.
But before that, would you like to play a game with me?
Of course.
Awesome. So my sister has a master's in psychology, so therefore I feel like I have a master's in psychology.
Absolutely.
So I came up with a list of questions, and they're just general questions that that I'll ask, and then you could just say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Uh-oh. All right, here we go.
And I used to call them rapid fire questions, but that's a little too aggressive. So they're just casual questions now.
Actual questions. All
Yes.
right. I'm ready.
All right. So what do you think of people who bring travel pillows on an airplane?
Practical?
All righty. If you can live in a Nicolas Cage movie, which one would it be? And here are your choices:
Okay.
Face Off, Wicker Man, or Bangkok Dangerous.
Oh my gosh, I'm such a jerk because I haven't seen them all. Can you help me along with
So,
this one?
well, with your personal background, you might want to choose Face Off because John Travolta's there.
There, I love it. There.
Okay, and plus his face comes off. So
Who wouldn't want to be in that movie?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can you spell Schwarzenegger?
Oh wow. Okay. Uh, SCH. Oh my gosh. WENEGGER. I'm sure that's wrong.
You were so close. You forgot the you. It's SCHWAR.
A.
Yeah, ZENEGGER. You were pretty close though.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
And I don't know how to spell it. I had to look it up myself.
All right, we're in it together.
Do you do a celebrity impression?
My brother does, and I can mimic his, but you
Okay.
can't do the face. He does an amazing De Niro,
Okay.
and he folds his lips over and he shakes his hand and he's like, "Are you talking to me? What do you think you're doing talking to me?" So I attempted my brother's, but he's so much happier if he saw his.
There we go. Okay. And now for the last question. Pick a Wilson. You have your choice between Owen Wilson,
Hmm.
Rebel Wilson,
Hmm.
or Wilson from Castaway.
Oh, Wilson, absolutely.
Everyone's got to go with Wilson
Yeah.
for sure. And for the people at home who'd like to follow you online, where can they do that?
Yeah, I have a website, www.christinawren.com. I'm Christina Wren on Instagram, Christina S. Wren on Twitter. I have a Facebook fan page, Christina Wren. So yeah, I would love to engage with people out there.
There you go. And everyone get in line for Batman v Superman. Watch your scene, like pay for the tickets, watch your scenes, and then walk out of the movie.
Well, but what if my scenes aren't only in the middle of the movie?
No, they're gonna stay up until you're. Oh, that. So I guess they have to watch the whole movie then.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
plus the ending might be awesome.
Oh, I said no spoilers. No spoilers.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. Well, Christina, thank you for chatting with me. You are welcome to come back whenever you like, okay?
Oh, thanks, Chris. This was awesome. I really appreciate you including me and reaching out.
I was happy to do it, for sure. But you have yourself a wonderful day and keep doing that Robert De Niro impression.
All right. Thanks. Have a good one, man.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.